you go.
Okay. Welcome to tonight's meeting, November 18th, 2024. First of all, does anybody have questions about tonight's agenda? No, don't see or hear anybody. Updates. Councilor Zadi?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. I attended the Rocky Mountain State of the Partnership Luncheon, and that was a really great event, and grateful to be there and learn a little bit more about what they do. And so I'll be reaching out to meet with some of the folks that run that to learn more, just because I'm very interested in the opportunities that they might be able to provide for kids in our city. The meeting with Debbie Teeter and the neighbors that we did with that walkthrough, I thought that was really helpful, and I just want to say that out loud because, you know, if other residents or neighbors have concern over, you know, many concerns bundled into one, we could, you know, make one meeting and address those at once and involve our counselors, and I think that went really well. You know, I think that's the right way to, you know, do things, get us together and do a walkthrough of an area, and so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to follow up there. And that was concerning graffiti, sound issues, and a lot of falling embankments around the creek behind houses there. And then I attended the Environmental Advisory Board regional, how do I say that, regional meeting that we've created. I believe that was the third one, and that was in Boulder this time. And we went over water concerns, and it was really interesting. We learned a lot about how the state handles water, and then, you know, how municipalities handle water, and so it was kind of a level-setting, informational type of meeting, and it went really well. That's what I'm up to.
Nothing for in here.
Well, since I haven't been here for a while, I went to the personnel board at the beginning of the month, and they're concerned because there's no alternates for their board, and I guess the guy that's the most involved that does their appeals with the police department, normally it's usually the police department that has appeals for employees. His term is up in 25, so they're concerned that we don't have any alternates, and maybe we're going to have, they were asking if we could change the term limits because they only have appeals like once in a blue moon. They've had like 4 since he's been on there, and they feel like otherwise they don't do anything unless there's an appeal. So I don't know if we can have a discussion about how our boards are going, if we have enough people, enough alternates. I'm sure that's not the only board with a problem. And maybe we need to be more active in getting people involved in being on those boards.
Councilor DeMott has a question.
So I think it was probably about 10 years ago they changed the rule as far as term limits. I think that's in ordinance for the term limits. Is that something that we could review and kind of maybe do like how's that went? Because that was something that changed. And I think one big thing that I've seen change in my time is the fact that we used to have a line of people, and I think that was the reason that they initially did that, and the trend changed. So maybe it would be good to reevaluate that and see what kind of options we might have and if it makes sense to change the ordinance.
Yeah, may I address that? Yes, Councilor, that is correct. Your personnel board is not the only one that has vacancies that we're concerned about. We have been thinking about this. We if you remember correctly, we changed the way we're recruited. I believe it was last fall, and we're evaluating that to see what was effective to do that and what wasn't effective. So we're going to look at that again. The code does have term limits. And but the way it reads is that people can serve until their position is filled. So the big concern is we were going to hit the first set of term limits in 25, and then half our board members would be gone. And the city attorney's office has reassured me that's not the way the code reads. So at the very least, on those boards that don't have wait lists and things like that, those people, if they're willing to continue to serve, will be able to. So we're internally working through some ideas and processes, and that will be coming back to council shortly.
Quick question on that, just because I know a lot of when that went into effect, I was on SPL, so I know a lot of the folks are kind of counting on that. So is that something that we're sharing with them so that they aren't just assuming they're going to be off, and that we may, you know, I guess, make sure that they're willing to continue to serve if they were thinking, oh, I'm going to be done, you know, this month, and then we ask them to stay, maybe, I just don't want us to get up against a wall where they're thinking they're gone, so they're, done when it hits.
Yeah, we have not widely communicated that yet because we wanted to make sure we had a clean process as opposed to like, oh, you get to serve until,
Sure.
willy-nilly one day we decide you don't anymore. We want to make sure it's clear and fair. And so we will communicate that once we have a good idea in place as to how to move forward.
Okay, cool, thank you.
I don't know, Mayor McNally, did you talk about the North Metro Art Alliance
No,
benefit?
I'm always the last person to speak, so go ahead.
So I went to that, and the mayor was there, and Councilor Carmelia was there, but we had a table that was almost empty other than us three. Well, there's a couple that joined us because they got kicked off their table, but I feel like if we're going to sponsor the table, we need to have it full, or why sponsor a table? I mean, so that was a problem, I thought. I also went to the Front Range flag raising ceremony on Veterans Day before the Veterans Memorial Service. It was very nice. They had their Colorado flag and the American flag were kind of getting tattered, so they changed them out. Some Marines came and changed them out, and they were very nice to me. They gave me a Front Range water bottle and bagels and breakfast and everything, so it was nice. Of course, the Veterans Memorial Service was very nice. What else? I went to the Citizens Police Academy Awards ceremony. It was great. The people that did it just loved it. They were so excited to graduate. I think I was sat at a table with a family that was just raved about how wonderful it was. So I thought that was great. I also listened to the Airport Advisory Board's meeting about HB 241235, which is they're supposed to have a voluntary noise ordinance. So I do have all the notes on my phone, but they are trying to cut down the amount of flights at night. I think it was 8 on one runway and 4 on the other that's closest to the people that are complaining. There were some citizens that talked. They thought it was only going to give them like a 3% decrease in what they were experiencing. But I'll have to say what was most shocking to me is we have 285,000 flights coming out of that airport right now, but we have 2 runways. Each runway is authorized to fly 500,000 flights apiece. And they think they're doing us a favor by only doing 285,000 flights. So just be aware of that. Anyway, they have a noise ordinance. They're going to post it to the pilots. They're trying to educate the pilots to be more considerate and not fly at night and not fly near the people's houses. So they're trying to educate and hoping that the pilots will comply, but it's voluntary. So anyway, I will be following up with Representative Byrd in January about it and see where we stand and what more can be done. Anyway. What else? Oh, I talked to the gal from Home Farm that's concerned about crime in her circle. There's a house there that there's some illegal activities going on. She says they've been buying up batteries and window washing fluid. And she looked it up and it's some kind of, I don't know if it's a meth lab or what they're doing in there, but she's concerned. There was like 10 cars she's seen with no license plates, prostitution going in and out. She doesn't feel safe with her kids there. She says that every time the police come, they're scatter, and so I guess the police have to catch them. I suggested she call the FBI because this happened in my neighborhood before, and the FBI lit up the house. So hopefully the FBI will look into it, but we might follow up. What else did I go to? I went to a lot of things. So, I went to the lighting ceremony, new downtown. That was the first time we'd done that. And we had a good turnout. City manager was there, and Sarah and Amela were there, and we turned on the lights, and I'm glad they went on. And it wasn't like the Grinch stole Christmas or something, right? It was great. And it seemed like the businesses were happier there, and that was happening, so. I guess that's all I have for now, but I'll keep you up to date on things that are transpiring and who I talk to anyway. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Great, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to join this virtually this evening. Not too much for me. I attended the Veterans Day Memorial with almost all of council. That was really nice, and just want to thank staff for continuing to put on meaningful celebrations for our veterans. And I last week attended a Front Range Passenger Rail Board Planning Committee. We went over their progress on identifying station locations for the northern, for the northern section, and which would be from Denver to Fort Collins. And they're making some progress on that, but obviously they're still trying to work on the overall planning and how that they're all going to work together. That's supposed to be finishing up in the next month or so in terms of sending a report to the state. So more to come on that. And I also attended the downtown lighting, and I appreciate that staff worked with the chamber on that, and it was really fun to see so many people there. So thank you for putting that on. That's all I have.
Mayor Pro Tem, just quick question for you. Is it maybe somewhat difficult for me to attend Dr. this week? But I can make it a priority depending on your availability.
I can attend. They do allow us to attend virtually. I'm still seeing if I can line up some care, but if not, I will ask to attend virtually. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for checking on that, Councilor Carmelia.
It has been a busy couple of weeks. Feels like forever since we've been sitting here. I too I've sent an email to council about the seats. There was another dinner I went to that, it's embarrassing when you're sitting, they put you in the center because you're a sponsor, and we have 6 seats available. And some of these events, I know that we have staff that would probably enjoy a night out. It's just like the art one was so relaxing and fun, and good food, and so I've told Jody, that our city manager, that we may shorten the timeline for us to have to make a decision, and then that's it. You're on your own. If you change your mind or whatnot, you get your own tickets, but we're going to fill a table, and somebody coming in at the last minute saying, "Oh, I can go now." So sad, so bad. We've got people to fill it, and we'll have a full table. So that's just been a pet peeve. The North Metro Arts was just fun. The Veterans Day was terrific. So many people and veterans so enjoy that. I'm going to slip in my update because I haven't updated you all. I have successfully finished cycle 2 of my treatments and had tests done 2 weeks ago, last Monday before I left for Tampa. Met with the doctor, and I have the same results. There's nothing new. Things have shrunk. Stuff around my lungs that sometimes caused hard to breathe has gone away. He was pleased and gave me full permission to go to NLC, so I flew out Tuesday. Wonderful. It was their 100th anniversary, and I was very careful. I did not go to their big celebrations because that wouldn't have been safe for me, but I brought Jody a nice stack of stuff to of different things that they talked about in the workshops. Especially, I was really excited about the one about budgeting. So he has all that information now and can look at it and see if any of it pertains to us. They actually had one of the pallets that they use for unhoused and for displaced, because in Tampa, with 2 hurricanes and one that was supposed to come this week, they had 2 acres of land that they could donate immediately, and the place that does these pallets they were able to get 200 in there for the displaced people to at least have shelter. So, and so just walking in one, the one I walked into was $18,000. They last for 20 years. And it was just that kind of a workshop where you learned a lot. You can talk to the actual representatives when you're in a workshop about a subject. So every day, I don't know, I went to maybe 5 or 6 things a day, and I had 3 that I had personal invitations to be part of focus groups, which was fun. And one of them that I shared with Jody was the UL code on your e-bikes and scooters. If your battery, which is going to cost more with that UL, if you buy a bike that doesn't have that, those are the bikes that are catching fire. So I just think there's probably some education that we could do around that. So anyway, so I got to go to that, and I am starting my 3rd cycle with my treatments. I have scans again December 23rd, and I'm now on every 3 weeks I go for a blood draw instead of 3 times a week. So it was nice to just forget about things and act normal and be in a great place. So Lindsay Kimball came out and spent 2 days with Amber and I, and it was just wonderful. So thanks so much. Election, the day after election, probably about 5:30 or 6, I wrote Jody and said, this isn't disaster. It's going to help us do things probably in a proper way, because we really didn't have conversation with this council around the fire stuff. We were told and we were presented to, but we were never able to really massage and look at what were all the options. Did we have to use a sales tax and all of that? So we've got a year. We start now, and we start planning for all of our core services and how that looks. And that's all I have. Do you have anything?
Not for this room, Mayor.
Okay. If we have nothing else, we'll see you all inside in about 8 minutes. Welcome to tonight's meeting, November 18th, 2024. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Westminster City Council meeting of November 18th, 2024. Thank you for joining us. We thank you for coming, and we would like to remind all in attendance that our meetings are subject to the rules of decorum that are posted inside the chamber doors. These rules are in effect while all meetings are in session, as well as during breaks and transitions between meetings. We want to be sure all feel welcome and remind all that there is an expectation that no attendee shall disrupt this meeting and that threats and intimidation are prohibited. No attendee shall engage in audible expressions of support or opposition for any speaker. Signs and placards are prohibited, and all attendees shall remain seated in their seats, provided not in the aisles, nor shall the doorways be blocked. Roll call, please.
Counselor Carmelia.
Present.
Counselor DeMott.
Present.
Counselor Azadi.
Here.
Counselor Hott. Mayor McNally.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela.
Here.
And Counselor Ireland.
Here.
Counselor DeMott.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we allow Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela to participate remotely.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to allow Mayor Pro Tem to be remote. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That brings us to the minutes. Counselor DeMott.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of October 28th, 2024 City Council meeting as presented.
Counselor Azadi, sorry.
Sorry, Mayor, there's a couple more motions that I think we need to make related to the attendance that I got from City Attorney Franco here. A motion to excuse Counselor Hott was that one, first one. The second one is, or was that for, that was for Sarah? We need a motion to excuse Counselor Hott. And then a motion to allow for participation, remote participation from Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela in both meetings. Because we have a WIDA meeting and a council meeting.
Counselor Hott is not going to be at the meeting.
This is for
Verbally.
Nurmela
So it's just a Mayor Pro Tem.
and the executive session. Yeah, so she needs the motion for the 3 meetings, WIDA, council, and executive session. We can make one motion for that.
Did you just make it?
Yes, that's motion to permit remote participation for Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela in both meetings, WIDA, City Council, and in the executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow Mayor Pro Tem for remote attendance tonight for attending the WIDA meeting, the executive session. We covered everything. Counselor Azadi, did you have something?
Yes. No, you're good.
Okay, roll call, or all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, are we covered?
Now we need the motion to excuse Councilor Hott.
To what?
To excuse Councilor Hott.
Oh,
Motion to excuse Councilor Hott.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to excuse Counselor Hott. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I think mine is still on the floor.
Counselor DeMott.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of the October 28th, 2024 meeting as presented.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve minutes of October 28th, 2024. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That brings us to presentations. We have none tonight, but public comment. The public comment portion of the meeting is an opportunity for the public to communicate with the City Council. Each participant will be given no more than 3 minutes on any topic they choose. Public comment is not intended to be a back and forth discussion. If there is public hearing, which we don't have tonight, that is when you would speak. This evening, the city clerk has informed me we've received 0 emails and no voicemails by the deadline. And how many people have signed up?
We have 5 people signed up.
Perfect. Would you like to call the first one?
The first speaker is Jim Fenimore.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, Jamie. Hey, I had a great meeting last week. I was the Mayor, Council, and City Manager last Monday night. Had a good time. But any rate, I just wanted to speak about the 72nd corridor and what we're talking about doing something down there. What needs to be taken into consideration is we need to be able to take care of the citizens, but we also need to take care of the businesses. And we need to also take care of our old town, Westminster there, especially the arts district and the businesses in there. If we take and make that a 1 lane in each direction for traffic, we're gonna make more congestion. I took and drove 72nd from Pecos all the way through Arvada out to McIntyre. Arvada has spent millions and millions of dollars to make it wide, in 2 lanes in each direction, where they can put sidewalks in. Also bicycle traffic can be accommodated over there also. 72nd Westminster was probably designed in the 40s. So unfortunately, we didn't have it back in those days where we would want to have additional traffic lanes and bicycle lanes and all those things. So unfortunately, we don't have the distance unless we go in there and condemn some property and take some, and acquire land to do an expansion. If we narrow that down into 1 lane in each direction, we got the Uplands project coming in, and we're gonna have almost 2,500 residences there, 47,000 square feet of residential and commercial. We're gonna be putting a lot of extra traffic in that corridor. Emergency vehicles, whether it be police, ambulance, or fire trucks responding, and we have 1 lane traffic. And what are we gonna do about our response times are gonna go down, so it's gonna be a safety issue. RTD is gonna be running 60-foot buses up Federal every 15 minutes. That's gonna be making extra congestion up Federal. And they're gonna be trying to get off on 72nd. What we really need to take in consideration is we need to put traffic cams up and down the 72nd corridor to where we've got them, and we have flashing lights where it says, speed is monitored electronically. We need to hit these people. If we're concerned about the speeding, we need to hit them in the pocketbook. Otherwise, they're just gonna keep doing it. So you just ride them, if they speed, you set the daggum cams at, say, 10 miles an hour over the 30 mile an hour that's allowed right now. And then they get a ticket. That'll slow them down. You'll get their attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Tom Lampo.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you. I'm Tom Lampo. Tonight I just want to remind everyone there's a spiritual battle going on around us, and it's manifesting itself in the physical. Everything that happens does affect us, but God has it all under control, and God has already won this battle. For many, these times and the near future are very unsettling, so I want to give Proverbs 3:5-6 to everyone. It states, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." That's Proverbs 3:5-6. So tonight I'm here to lift up Westminster in prayer. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, I want to invite you here to Westminster to be with us. We need your presence, and you are always welcome here. I want to lift up everyone in Westminster to you. We need you, although we might not realize we need you. In Romans 8:28 it states, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your goodness is all around us, but we might not perceive what is happening is good. At times we feel estranged from this world. We are trusting in what we see, and that is what we know. Please take our faith and the love we have for you and show us how what is happening is what you want in our lives. Our world does not make sense. All too often our plans and how we want life to happen doesn't. Many times we are confronted with experiences that we'd hope we'd never have to live. Your word states in Psalm 23:4, "Even though I walk through the valley of darkness, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. We're all like sheep. Be our shepherd and guide us to greener pastures." You are our God and we are your people. In your precious name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you. The next speaker is John Palmer.
Welcome.
Thank you and good evening. This evening, I'd like to talk about segregation, or to segregate. If you look in the Oxford Dictionary, it says to set apart from the rest or from each other, to isolate or divide. But by that I mean segregation covers a broad variety of things: racial, color, religion, age, sex, disability, occupation, national origin, income. Those are just to name a few. But if you'll notice behind me, we have segregation here in our council chamber. And I say our because it's the people's council chamber. I don't know who came up with this brainstorm to segregate the public from the staff. I've been coming into this council chamber for the better part of 10 years. I think Dave could verify, or Councilor DeMont could verify that. We've never had a seating problem where staff didn't have a place to sit. Furthermore, if there were a situation, citizens should have first opportunity in their room to address you or to listen. But again, we're being segregated. Furthermore, you're segregating. One of the chairs up here in the aisle is an ADA chair. It's the only one in the room. But now, because we've segregated this chamber with employees sitting versus citizens, that doesn't leave somebody that might want to use that chair an opportunity because it's reserved for employees. That's a problem. That falls under Title II of the ADA law. But again, it's your duty, the overseers of our city and staff, to look into this matter, address it, and stop the segregation. It's not right. There was a time when staff and citizens could sit together, sit next to each other, talk, pick their brains. But now we're not afforded that because we're being segregated. So I hope all of you can understand what I'm trying to say here and the point of segregation. It's not right under anything, not just the things I mentioned, but right here in this chamber. Segregation. What's next? We're going to have the ladies on one side and the men on the other? Are we going to have age? The elderly have to sit up here and the young have to sit over there. What's next? We're all grown adults here. We don't need to be told where to sit. We don't need seating police or ticket takers to tell us where to sit. It's never been a problem. So I don't understand why it is now. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Beth McBride.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm coming here as a regular citizen, and yet I'm going to change hats and talk to you a smidge about the park. But my first thing is I want to thank a couple of employees. First, I want to thank Sergeant Robert D. Herrera for helping with the attention of a situation we had in Carol Butts Park near where I live. And we were having 2 or 3 nights a week trashed parking lots, cars parked there early in the morning. And people were becoming afraid, and it's a lovely neighborhood, and we're having a lot of new families come in with little children, and so it's been a concern. So I went up to Sergeant D. Herrera, and I asked him what I could do, and he immediately took out a paper and wrote his phone number down. And he says, give this to all the neighbors, and I did. And so everybody feels like, okay, now I can be heard. I can make a phone call. And he says, I can sit down with you all, whatever you need, and I will increase patrols. And he has, and you can see the difference. So I think that needs to be acknowledged, and I really, really appreciate it. And then I'm going to just really briefly say that Patty Wright is out there signing us all up, and she, as you all know, has a ton of people some nights, and she always is professional, and she's always courteous. And Carrie, the receptionist, is answering the phones, answering questions, and still has the time to be nice to us. So I just want to acknowledge that. Now I'm switching, and of course, I'm always bringing things for you all. Lastly, I would like to put my dog volunteer hat on to tell you that while I was attending a master plan meeting for the library, Tanya Yost and I were moved by the tremendous work being done by Growing Home, Fish, and the Irving Street Libraries and librarians in helping people in need. Tanya and I wondered how we could help, and so as the Guardians, we are having a pause giving this next weekend, collecting pet food to give to Fish, and we're splitting it with Foothills because they take our animals when they're captured for us, and then help with all of the, Jeffco as well as Westminster. So this is this weekend if anybody wants to help, and I just thought I'd give you the sign. And we're hoping this is for, like I said, pause giving for Thanksgiving for people in need. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Karen Calamity.
Hello. I just wanted to acknowledge that Karen Ray died last week. And Karen Ray was a strong advocate for keeping the Westminster farm intact and unruined as it has become. She died of cancer, which I'm sure was exacerbated by what she saw happening to the beautiful site that she had spent a lot of time and effort trying to protect. The Uplands project, in my opinion, has been a disaster from day one. It never met requirements. It was supposed to provide housing for the missing middle. The units planned at that location now are $600,000 to $1.2 million. That's not missing middle. I lost my home, but I can't imagine if I had $600,000 to $1.2 million that's where I would want to live, in the uplands, surrounded by concrete, asphalt, wooden houses, capable of flaming at any point in time. They were supposed to supposedly match the housing nearby, which is all one-story housing, brick construction. Nothing like what the Uplands is proposing. It was supposed to be handicap accessible, all those units, even the site. I've had a meeting with the city engineer and others. The site across from John Palmer's house is 8 feet higher than the elevation of the road. It does not match the contours of the area. They have been building in a floodplain, emitting stormwater water into people's yards, into downstream areas. I mean, the whole thing is so poorly planned and not what was supposed to happen. And Karen fought the good fight, and I'm just sad that she's in the grave instead of some of the other developers who have messed up part of our city.
Thank you. That was the last speaker.
I'd like to speak.
He wasn't on the list.
You didn't sign up?
So I'm not allowed to speak?
You have till 7:15 to sign up. That brings us to city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a brief report tonight. First, I would like to run through what's on tonight's agenda. We have 3 meetings tonight. This regular meeting of City Council that will be followed by a Westminster Economic Development Authority meeting, or a WEDA meeting, and then finally the 3rd meeting will be a post meeting with an executive session. So in council tonight, in your packet, we have 3 information only items. The first is findings from the City Council debrief of the 2025 budget process. The second is prairie dogs in Westminster, one of our emerging issues that we're working on. And the third is from our police department, and that is the crime report and statistics for crime throughout the city. On consent agenda, we have 8 items tonight, and that includes 3 second readings. And for new business, 1 item only. That's the first reading for a supplemental appropriation of funds for the North Huron Urban Renewal Area, or URA. And that's for West 142nd Avenue and Orchard Parkway traffic signal, and North Huron URA asphalt and concrete, traffic signal equipment and UPS updates, and signal corrosion control projects. So a significant investment in infrastructure in our North Huron area using those URA funds. We have 1 item of old business, and that's a second reading. The second meeting tonight is the WEDA meeting, and there's 1 item there, and that is a public hearing for the supplemental appropriation to the 2024 WEDA budget to reimburse costs to the General Capital Improvement Fund for improvements in that North Huron URA. And finally tonight on our post-meeting executive session, a consultation with the city attorney regarding legal issues involving the deed for the Woman Creek parcel. Next, city update. This one is a big one. I'm pleased to announce the appointment of Eric Burke as Westminster's new fire chief. And Chief Burke is in the room with us tonight. Chief Burke, if you could stand, and right there at the... So Chief Burke joined the Westminster Fire Department in 2002 and has served as Westminster's acting fire chief since April of 2024. In his career with the city, he has served as Deputy Chief of Operations, Emergency Medical Services Chief, Provisional Battalion Chief, Captain, Lieutenant, Paramedic, and Firefighter. Chief Burke is known for his strong collaboration skills, both regionally and in the community, and brings a wealth of experience and leadership to the city's executive leadership team. Welcome, Chief Burke. Next slide, thank you. Tying into the fire department theme tonight, 2 notices I'd like to bring to everyone's attention. These are emergency notification tools that are available to the members of our community. The first one is a reminder. This is already available to you, and that has been available to you in our community, and that's sign up for a lookout alert, and that lets you get crucial notifications during fires, police emergencies, and severe weather, and it's very effective. So again, that's lookout alert, and you can get that at www.lookoutalert.co. The second one is new, and this is an announcement and encouraging folks to sign up for this one as well, and that's the Genesis Protect, and that will help locate your specific evacuation zone in the event that there is one, and ensure that you're ready to act quickly in the event of an evacuation. That site, you can get that app from www.genesisprotect.com. Next slide. This is an exciting one. City update, Mountain Range High School are now gymnastics champs. On November 7th, Westminster's Mountain Range High School won its 2nd consecutive state title in 5A gymnastics, and Mountain Range is now tied for 7th all-time titles with 3 team titles. So that's a big one, and congratulations to the students at Mountain Range High School Gymnastics. Next slide, please. This week coming up, Wednesday, November 20th, we have a special permits and license board meeting, and that's at 6 o'clock here in City Council chambers. We also have an environmental advisory board meeting, 6:30, and that's here in the Pikes Peak conference room. It's also a hybrid meeting. You can participate through Teams. Thursday, November 21st, is the Uplands Quarterly Construction Update meeting. That starts at 5:30 and goes until 6:30 p.m., and that's at the Crown Point Academy, adjacent to the Uplands development site. Next meeting, so next Monday, November 25th, right here at City Council chambers, starting at 6:30. There will be a presentation, which is a proclamation for Small Business Saturday. We have an information-only item scheduled, and that is the annual consolidated evaluation report for the Community Development Block Grant Program. It's a big agenda for consent items, 13 items on consent agenda, including 2 second readings, and then 1 item of new business, which is the first reading, amending Title 14 of the Westminster Municipal Code regarding the Employee Defined Contribution Plan or Retirement Plan. There will be no appointments and resignations or a post meeting that night. Next slide, please. That concludes my presentation. So if you need to reach me or get a hold of me, you can do that at the city manager's office. My direct phone number is 303-658-2003 or jandrews@westminsterco.gov. And of course, you can follow the city at any one of our 4 social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, or Nextdoor. That's all I have, Mayor.
Any questions?
Well, I just wanted, can I say something about who came tonight? I appreciate the Guardians as usual, and they're stepping up to help people in need through helping their pets. I appreciate Karen's words about Karen Ray. I knew Karen Ray, and she was a great woman, and I appreciate her and what she tried to do for her community. And I also would like to understand why we have reserved seating for employees in here. I don't think that's okay. And I think the citizens should have first dibs on seats. They pay for this building, and I don't think we should be segregated. That's all I have to say. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I won't be here next week, but I'll be online. I appreciate all those that showed up to speak, and I always appreciate prayer. We don't get enough prayer in this world, so I appreciate you always coming to pray for us. Thank you.
Councilor Azadi?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start by thanking everyone for coming out tonight. Beth, on the pause giving is a brilliant idea. I actually haven't heard of that. A drive for pet food. You know, when people go broke or homeless or they have significant economic strife, one of the first things they lose is their pet because it's expensive to upkeep and maintain. So that's a brilliant idea from the Guardians. Thanks for doing that. I want to say a few words about Karen Ray. So as you've heard already, she passed away on November 11th. She was 63 years old. She lived in a lot of states, and we're just blessed in this state that she called Colorado home. I met her in 2021. We didn't always see eye to eye on many issues, but she was always kind to me, and that's what I will remember the most of her. Her family is holding a private memorial service, and so there is no public one that you can attend, but if you want to send flowers or plant a tree in her name, there is a website that you can do that in. So I just want to say, Karen, we miss you, and it's a heartbreak for the community. She was a community advocate here. Besides that, I went to several events. The Veterans Day, the lighting ceremony, W. Teeter, we visited the home, the art walk. But what I wanted to focus on was, in this section, is the parks meeting. So I'm on the Parks and Rec board. I'm the council liaison there, and we met last week. And an issue came up that I've been hearing a lot lately, so I wanted to bring it up here. And that's the concept or the perspective of our librarians. So if you think about all the issues we have in the city, we have a lot of crime rising, right? Crime is decreasing, and I'll get to that in my next section, but there are pockets in the city where crime is increasing, and it's mostly burglaries and retail theft. But a lot of the unhoused, a lot of the various issues that we hear about, they are the front lines for many of our public services. A lot of folks go to the libraries for shelter, just to get out of the extremities of cold or heat outside, to read and the usual services. But our librarians right now are not getting enough resources, and I wish we hear more about this at the council level, but they need help. They need us to invest in them, and they need resources. They need all the various things that our homeless navigators provide. They need a lot of those things too. So I would just ask City Manager Jody Andrews and staff to look into the whole librarian resourcing and figure out if what the gaps are. And I'm sure we have the resources. If they just need them allocated towards them. That's a significant issue that's growing. So I wanted to bring that up. And then regarding, so as you saw at the election, the fire ballot question failed, and so did the ward's ballot question. It's heartbreaking. It's unacceptable for many reasons. There are many reasons why they failed, but what I want to do is make sure that the citizens know that we at council, we're not going to just let it go, that the fire question failed. We still need that infrastructure. They still need the investment. We need to figure out a way of giving them what they need. So I've asked, I think it was by email, for us to gather up and figure out and brainstorm what can we do to allocate resources to at least temporarily even alleviate the gaps that we have in the fire service. So that's coming. Congratulations, Burke. You deserve it, as you know. And regarding crime, like I mentioned, so crime overall, we just got a report at council, and you can look it up. If you go to the city website, you can go to the agenda and you will see the report. We have an updated crime report from our chief that talks about how crime overall is down in many areas. One of the areas that's down is in car thefts, for example. And if you guys remember, early 2023, this council, or the previous council, what we did was we said the state has a lot of accountability on why those thefts were high. We can't do much about that. There are a lot of macroeconomic and microeconomic reasons why crime was going up, especially car thefts. What could we do at the city level to try and reduce that? And we changed 4 pieces of our city code. What we've seen, so now looking at the numbers, from 2023 to 2024, it's decreased 50%. 50. Okay? And that's a combination of a change that was made at the state, but a lot of it is due to these changes we can do in the city, in Westminster, what we did. And what's happening now, you'll hear about crime, but I want you to know, and you should read this report, it'll show you how crime is decreasing. But what is increasing? Burglaries, retail theft, things like that. And we need to do something about it. And what I'm seeing is it's targeted. It's in pockets. It's not citywide. So that's why I've also called for a set of policy recommendations that we can do in the city. What can we do from a municipal level to take care of this increasing pockets of crime? So I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming study session. When is that again? Wasn't there a study session booked for that, a crime?
We don't have a study session booked at this time. We wanted to prioritize getting the information to you first as a matter of priority.
So whenever we do have that, I'm looking forward to that. And I agree. So prioritize seating. I think we don't need reserve seating. I see the intent. I think staff had good intent in ensuring it's in the back of, making sure that we didn't take seats in the front and making sure that at least some staff are able to sit in case this is packed. But I think we go back to the old adage of let's just keep it simple. I think citizens deserve prioritized seating over staff, and we can do away with this practice. It's a new practice. It had good intent, but it's not necessary at this point because it creates a perceived hierarchy, and there is no hierarchy. We work for you, right? Council works for the citizens, staff works for the citizens, and that's a way of building trust. So this is one of those things we can change pretty easily. And finally, if this wasn't long enough, my food drive. So there's a food drive I've been pushing the last couple months. It's our second annual Westminster food drive. One more week is left. Next Monday, Growing Home it's coming to take all the food. So if you're going grocery shopping for Thanksgiving, which I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about now, right? And thank you, Pastor. You've donated. Thank you for those, for the bag that you gave me that last time. Sorry, if I'm not sure if the pastor is the correct, but you get it. If you have any food, extra food, there's a list. You can call me, text me. My number is 720-447-5606. We're trying to make one big push for this final week. We're trying to feed 1,000 people for Thanksgiving. And this is in partnership with Growing Home, partnership with Fish of Westminster. If you have any extra food, canned food, baby formula, think about the folks who are struggling right now. Think about the grocery prices, how ridiculous they are. Think about how people are working 2-3 jobs and just can't make it, right? They can't make it work. Rent is out of control. Most people can't buy homes because there is no homes, so there's no housing. There's a lot of issues people are struggling with. Food is the last thing they should be worrying about, but they are. So if you can help, please do. There's 1 week left. Thanks. Bye.
Anyone else? Councilor Carmelia?
Yes. So I just wanted to address the public comment around our officers. It's really great to hear our officers being proactive for our community members. So thank you for sharing that. And I also want to say I'm really impressed with how the movement for the Guardians has taken off to do good around our community in so many different ways. So that's pretty amazing that we now have a positive force for good out there. Thank you. A big, again, congratulations, Chief Burke. We're really excited to have you, and we're fortunate to have you. We know that. And I missed this in my report, so I just wanted to say a big thank you and congratulations to everyone and staff who put together that first North Metro Arts Alliance Gala that we've had in several years. It was a lot of fun. I just wanted to say I really appreciated winning my favorite prize, which was a nice bottle of whiskey while we did paper airplane contest. So that was really creative and fun. And I love that we're building community in so many different ways. And that's it.
Councilor Dumont?
Thank you, Mayor. A couple quick things. I attended the Citizen Academy graduation. Councilor Ireland was there. She mentioned it in the pre-meeting. But I just want to thank the police officers who worked to put that on, as well as the citizens who take the time to learn. It's a great opportunity for folks to understand how they can do their part in keeping our community safe, as well as themselves. And I know our officers, I don't know how many graduations they've done, but they're always good. And that was a very packed room, so I'm glad to see that we had such a full class. Additionally, I wanted to thank staff for the Veterans Day Memorial Service. I think that it's timely that we get to do that and celebrate. We just, in this country, went through an election. Those folks are the folks that make sure that we even have the right to have those elections. So I think that was a very great ceremony that we got to attend, and it was nice to see pretty much the whole entire council being able to be there and celebrate our veterans, and specifically the veterans who work for the city. And there was, I believe, 100 different folks that work for the city that were veterans that we named. And then lastly for me, this week is the last Policy and Pilsner that I'll do for this year. So that's my town hall. It's at Cocopelli Beer Company. We'll be there at 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So hopefully you can join me for this last one, and then we won't meet again until January so that folks can enjoy their family for the holidays.
Councilor Carmelia?
Thank you, Councilor Demott. You reminded me to also announce that at the next meeting, I will determine the location of my coffee on Saturday mornings for 2025. But for here on out, we're not going to be holding those over the holidays. So thanks for everyone who showed up. I think we'll be switching around. I'm trying to figure out which location comes next, and I'll get that set up soon.
Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything?
No, that's okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to report that I was fortunate enough to, Councilor Hott and I were at NLC last week. That is the National League of Cities, where everybody around the country comes, and You talk to people that have 400 in their city to millions. So we all are dealing with the same issues. It's interesting how listening to some of the smaller cities, how they're handling some things. They always have questions. It's such a great dialogue. It's great. One of the protocols is that we write a report. I did that each day because I had so many workshops each day, and I figured by Saturday I wouldn't remember Wednesdays, so I wrote the council every night and shared the workshops I went to and some of our learnings, and brought city manager home a stack of things as he was reading the reports, if he wants to look into any of those things that we attended. So I just wanted to thank everyone for being able to attend, and Chief Burke, congratulations. That brings us to consent agenda. Councilor DeMott?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve consent agenda items 8A through 8H.
Second.
Councilor Carmelia?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve items, consent agenda items 8A through H. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Ireland, did you have
No,
anything? Okay. Roll call, please.
Counselor Carmelia.
Yes.
Counselor DeMott.
Yes.
Counselor Azadi.
Yes.
Mayor McNally.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nurmela.
Yes.
And Counselor Ireland.
Yes.
The motion passes on a 6-0 vote.
That brings us to new business. First reading of Bill number 41. Councilor DeMott?
Thank you, Mayor. I move contingent upon Westminster Economic Development Authority WEDA Board's approval of Resolution number 237 to pass Councilor Bill number 41 on first reading, appropriating a transfer from WEDA in the amount of $7,100,400 to the 2024 General Capital Improvement Fund for the North Huron URA, West 142nd Avenue and Orchard Parkway Traffic Signal Project, the North Huron URA Asphalt and Concrete Project, the North Huron URA Traffic Signal Equipment and UPS Update Project, and the North Huron URA Signal Corrosion Control Project.
Councilor Azadi?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pass Councilor's Bill number 41. Is there any further discussion?
I have a comment. So I live up there, and there's a light on 142nd Parkway, and it says that we're going to install one there, and there was already one there. So I'm trying to understand why we're spending, I think, $700,000 to do that when it's already there.
I read it that it's at the Orchard Parkway.
That's where it says 142nd Orchard Parkway. There's a light.
There is, oh, I'm thinking of the one before it. That's true.
I went and checked it out tonight on my way here to make sure that that was what it was. But there is a light there. There is not a light outside of Lexington, but there is a light on 142nd Parkway.
Welcome.
Is it a full traffic signalized
Yes.
intersection?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to check on that.
Okay. I don't want to double pay for another light and tear it out and build another one, kind of know, anyway.
Mayor, we will get back with the correct specifications on that. It is the installation of a warranted new traffic signal, so we'll get the correct.
They're not even that old, that I know that, so,
We'll get you the correct location.
okay.
I know the street before that I usually take doesn't have a light either at Huron or Orchard Parkway. So in my head, that's where it was going. But, okay. Anything else? Roll call, please. Yep.
I guess I'm wondering for my vote if we should wait for the information or if we approve the money now to go to the, we do know that it's a need, is that right? I guess I'm confirming that so that I know where I stand on this. Sorry to put more.
Counselor, we'll just wait a moment, and Mr. Knippel may be able to provide clarification here. If not, we can move this to a different evening.
I think we have a typo in here. We've got, one point in the memo, it says at 144th in Orchard, and then the other down in the physical impact, it says 142nd in Orchard.
There's a light on 144th too, but it's older than the 142nd. So I don't know if it needs redone or.
Mayor,
I'll have to check that.
may I recommend that we continue this one until date certain, which will be our next meeting of our regular city council? And we'll get the typos corrected, and we'll get the location
Perfect.
accurate.
Do I need to?
Yep.
Yeah, I would move to table item A1
Until November 18th.
till November 18th.
Is that okay, Councilor Rosati?
Yes.
Okay, yes?
Yes.
Just for clarification, I think you mean the 25th of November?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
I'm sorry, can I also go ask you to continue it as opposed to table it? It just makes the record cleaner.
I would like to continue it till November 25th.
And Councilor Rosati, your second is okay?
Yes.
Okay. So item 1 under new business is being continued to November 25th. We need a vote on that?
Yeah, but you can do a voice vote.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Opposed? All right.
Aye.
We will visit that next meeting. That brings us to Councilor's Bill 39. Councilor Ireland?
I'm voting against this like I did the last time. I think
We need a motion.
Oh, well, I'm not making a motion on this, so someone else. will.
Your light was on, and
Sorry.
you're first in
I
my,
left it on.
you're in my thing. Councilor Azadi?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to pass Councilor's Bill number 39 on second reading to in substantially the same form as attached, authorizing the city manager to execute a development assistance agreement with Sherman Westminster Station, or assigns for the development of a 228-unit workforce and market rate mixed-use project located at 6935 Federal Boulevard in the Westminster Station area.
Councilor Dumont?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pass Councilor's Bill number 39. Any further discussion? Councilor Ireland?
I will be voting no. So I've talked to citizens, and they think we have too many apartments already, and I looked up at apartments.com. There's 2,500 available right now. So I don't think we need any more apartments, and I especially don't think that citizens should be subsidizing it. So I would be voting no.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Azadi.
Yes.
Mayor McNally.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Narmella.
Yes.
Councilor Ireland.
No.
Councilor Carmelia.
Yes.
And Councilor Dumont.
Yes.
The motion passes on a 5-1 vote.
It is 7:47 and the city council meeting is adjourned. We will now reconvene as the WIDA board. We will incorporate the attendees from the council meeting, and roll call, please.
We don't need to repeat the
Okay.
roll call.
Perfect. Minutes for October 14th. Councilor Dumont.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the minutes of the October 14th, 2024 meeting as presented.
Is there a second? Board Member Azadi.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the October 14th meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That brings us to the public hearing regarding Resolution 237. Does staff have anything?
Mayor, if I could suggest, this is tied directly to the other item that's being continued to the 25th, so I would recommend that this meeting and this item be continued also to
Okay.
November 25th.
Councilor, or Board Member Demott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move to continue resolution number 237 to November 25th.
Second.
Councilor Carmelia?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to continue this item for the WIDA agenda, resolution number 237 to November 25th. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
It is now 7:49 and the WIDA meeting is adjourned. We do have executive session and we will adjourn for that.
Mayor, if I could, before the public portion of our meeting concludes, if I could, the title for the proposed executive
I'm sorry.
session, I
Yep.
would ask council to consider whether or not you want to convene it. The title is "An Executive Session to Consult with the City Attorney on Legal Issues Involving the Deed for the Woman Creek Parcel Pursuant to Westminster Municipal Code 111.3C3 and 8 and Colorado Revised Statute 246402-4B."
I will ask each of you to state your name and that you're willing to have the executive session.
Obi, is that a yes?
Claire Carmelia, yes.
Dave Demott, yes.
Nancy McNally, yes.
Christine Ireland, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Sarah Normella, yes.
Now we're adjourned.
Thank you.
See you in the boardroom.